Hey, we're Flick and Joe, and this is our dog Walter. In 2022, we made the crazy decision to quit our full-time jobs, pack up our lives, and move aboard our blue water sailing boat. We spent many months refitting her and getting her ready for our plans until one day we actually did it. We cast off the lines, we pointed her south, and off we went. We've now sailed over 1,000 nautical miles, dodging orcas, yes, actually, and most of the rocks along the way. Join us for the beautiful, quite stressful, but endlessly eventful life that is full-time living aboard.
In this week's episode, we watch my Olympian of a brother race in Palma, watch a charter boat drive through protected seagrass, and then another charter boat drag into our friends. Twice. It'll be Ben Ainsley! We set off from Ibiza early that morning, and as we came into Mallorca at mid-afternoon, we saw the Team Ineos Americas Cup test boat ripping through the bay. Absolutely flying there. We picked up Dad, Hannah, and Chris and Amy from Sailing Saffron, and then headed out to watch some of the racing. Over the next few days, we took the boat, and with Dad and Hannah, we watched Elliot race. 4th, 5th round the mark. He's coming in. 6th, 7th round the mark. Sneaking. Oh! He's not the mark. I've got him. He's going out here to do a turn. He's not. No, he's not. They're all going downwind, Dad. He's trying to find some space to do a turn, I think. There's his jibe. No, I have nothing but support and love for Elliot and what he's doing as a professional athlete. But seeing him hit the mark and have to do his penalty turns did fill me with joy. We used to race together as teenagers, and I think that competitiveness never really goes away. It's too deeply ingrained. We sat in the cockpit watching the racing up close and ate a lot of ham, cheese and croquettes. What a lovely day. And it was just so nice to be able to take Dad out. It was the first time he'd been on the boat. We're anchoring here this afternoon. I know. We'll see what it's like. We might go the other side if it is. But we'll drop Dad off over here. We anchored at a very rolly anchorage just outside of Palma and went for dinner that evening. On the walk back from the restaurant, we came across this curious sight that left us very confused at first. But it turns out this was actually Semana Santa, meaning Holy Week in Spanish. The white hoods actually date back to the 15th century, long before the origins of the more recent connotations. It was decreed that those convicted of religious crimes had to wear the conical hoods so that everyone knew they had sinned. But this symbol of imposed penitence from the Inquisition, the Spanish Inquisition, was later translated into processions, like the one you see before you now.
The steering wheel.
This is Steve Rogers, a day trip charter boat that comes with a captain, presumably Steve Rogers. They visited every day and dragged anchor almost every day. 10 out of 10 for consistency. In this video, you can see they drop their anchor right on the edge of the swim buoys in a patch of Poisidonia, the darker patches of water. For those that don't know, the Poisidonia is a type of seagrass and is highly protected in the Mediterranean, and for a good reason too. It's extremely slow growing at roughly 1 millimetre, yes, millimetre per year. It is an amazing habitat for a range of wildlife, and it is also a giant carbon sink, more effective than our land forests. So for somebody who's in the tourism industry and presumably lives on the islands, you'd have thought they'd do everything in their power to protect the seagrass. Anchoring in the Poisidonia is strictly forbidden as it damages or kills it. Steve Rogers' dragging anchor through the grass probably just reversed hundreds of years of growth. Nice one, Steve. There is a really useful app called Donia. I'll stick a link in the description. Using satellite imagery, it highlights the areas of the seabed covered in seagrass so you know where to avoid. Please don't anchor in the Poisidonia.
That's our friends Chris and Amy. And this is the catamaran that can't anchor. Still going backwards, I think they're dragging again. That's it, dragging, that's why they're going sideways like that. But the thing is, it just keeps dragging and biting into the sand, like dragging and... Not good enough anchor, not enough chain. We brought in about 100 watt hours throughout the night in solar power, just because it's reflecting off the moon.
True.
Huh? It is
The
true!
moon isn't strong enough, but you can't get times of the moon, which means you can't generate energy.
You can if you spent the whole night under the stars with the moon. With a full moon, you could get a little tan.
No, you couldn't.
Of course you could!
No, you couldn't, you're a liar.
I'm not a liar, I'd never lie to you.
I'm stupid.
Of course
Why
I
is it
don't.
drifting again?
It's dragging, it's dragging. He's getting pretty close to that other boat now. He's definitely over the other boat's anchor. They're moving, I think. They're in forward again. What you got on your lip? Well, you got something stuck on your lip. What is it? Have you been eating grass? Oh. Leave it well. Leave it well.
Walter!
That is silly behaviour.
Stop trying to pour at it. Pouring at the ground.
Oh, look at that.
Fine. That one might need a bit more.
Why are you so...
Chris is teaching me how to anchor. Now they're going to be right on top of Saffron. And charter boat coming in as well, another one. That's Roger. Same company, IB Yachting.
Yeah. They're drifting onto Saffron.
Oh my god, man. Is he sticking it in reverse? We need to go back to the marina.
Chris is stressed.
Yeah, I would be stressed.
Joe, do you wanna go in with your dinghy and go help?
No, it doesn't need more voices. Oh, he's pushing the bow around, look.
Yeah, he's having to. Amy's getting fenders out.
Just can't believe it.
He's gonna do it for them.
Chris just needs to anchor the boat for
Yeah.
him. Yeah. And this is Steve Rogers, who's equally incompetent. We've seen him, but yeah.
What do you think, mate?
How is someone able to rent a boat
If they're not able to
and
anchor.
and they don't know how to steer it? How do they, like, seriously?
It's very concerning.
He's got like zero boat control. He can't even get out of where he is now.
Yeah.
Chris is going to take over.
So Chris is doing it. What's going on?
So embarrassing.
But now it's got steerage. I actually can't believe how close that got to the boat.
It would have hit if he didn't
Yeah.
if it wasn't in the dinghy.
Yeah.
Is Chris at the wheel or is the other guy?
Chris is next to him, telling him what to do, but when they were drifting, Chris took over and was steering.
Or
And
she's guys as well. He always anchors and never puts his bridle on, but his bridle never lets out enough chain for his bridle to actually be tight. So all the weight of the chain is still in the windlass. But it shows how shit hot you have to be, like when a boat comes into an anchorage.
yeah, it's so true. That's so good that they were up on deck, because if
Everyone
we
has
were
to be
there, we wouldn't have
watching.
known.
Yeah, we wouldn't.
I thought they'd be fine. Didn't think that they would.
Can't trust anybody.
Yeah. Can't trust anyone.
You literally can't trust anybody.
Oh, well done, Chris. What's he doing now? Just standing on the side telling them where to go? Do they have a chart plotter, do you
Chris
think?
needs to just anchor for them.
Yeah. He's trying to be an instructor though, isn't he? He's like, I can teach you how to do this and empower you for future.
Oh, I would have lost my patience straight away. If he's just dragged into another boat.
Yeah. And then
You need to
effectively
explain to the camera. He's dragged into Arlequin down there, which is our Argentinian friend.
who have been like so good the whole time, like not budged at all on their point. They were here before any of us. And they're only like a little 30-odd foot yacht, and yeah, just so shit. They don't have a counter on
Yeah,
their
there'll
chain
be no
though.
way for him to know how much
Just
chain
put it all
is.
out.
So-
Chris, just put the whole thing out. He said again, like, oh, do I keep going?
Honestly.
Oh, I feel bad.
It looks like he's got his nav lights on as well.
This is a massive anchorage. There's so much space, and they've nearly hit 2 boats. There's
Yeah.
so much space. Do you think they're dragging? Does it look like they're dragging?
I think they're spinning round.
Oh, I see. But no one else is. At least Roger's managed to anchor fairly well today.
Roger's actually, his snubber is actually being used today.
Oh, well done, Rog.
He's let out enough chain to actually engage it. So well done, Roger.
Yep. Oh, are they reversing?
Yeah, they are reversing. Can't tell if it's dragging. They're going back with some force. I think Chris is now abandoning, yeah. That anchor's definitely not burning.
So we just had a very interesting experience in the anchorage where another boat sadly dragged their charter boat, and I think this might be their first time anchoring, because they anchored, let out a load of chain, and then just dragged straight into the boat behind them. Chris and Amy on Sailing Saffron behind me there, they jumped in their dinghy and went to go help, and were able to like disentangle them while they start their engine and things. And then Chris got on the boat and helped them to re-anchor, and the anchor dragged. I think it's just a really not very good anchor. The anchor dragged again, so they were like, okay, let's go around again, try again. Now the boat's stuck in, oh, that's much better. Now the boat's stuck in forward, they can't get the throttle to change. So Chris just came past and was like, shall we come and have a look too? He might be able to help. So now Amy and I are just watching our husbands sail off into the distance with both the tenders and hoping they come back one day. Meanwhile, Walter's duck is safe and sound. It's been very exciting, but it looks like potentially they might have anchored. I'm trying to work it out whether they've actually stuck or whether they're dragging. But it's been maybe like half an hour of them just driving to Magaluf and back for the whole time. But well done Chris and Joe, going and trying to fix it for them. Now we just need to get some beers for Joe and Chris as a well done. The boys are back.
I need a hero. I'm holding out for a hero till the end of the night.
The boat is safe. I think they raced. Here he comes.
Lex still wearing his duck.
Yeah!
Good there. Good looking for you over there, well. You really could have done with your help. Dad.
You just turn the engine off, remember?
Yeah, I'll come up. I'll pull it up and sort the oars.
How was that?
Oh, it's good. It was stuck in forward.
So weird.
So it
Why?
was working when they first dragged
Yeah.
the engine, and that was, well, they didn't really know what they were doing. But they were also told like bad information from the charter company. He's done day skipper, and then he was like, first time renting a boat on his own.
Yeah.
He's got 2 friends on board who know less.
Yeah.
We've got a little kid as well on board.
Oh,
It's like
really?
2-year-old, 3-year-old.
Okay.
And then
So the dragging, but
fix
then
it.
they were able to get out of the dragging because they still had forward, so they could just go forward and then.
yeah, but then it was stuck forward.
I see.
Basically, you couldn't get it back into neutral. It wouldn't click into neutral, and,
So you
and
then-
then you can't go back in through neutral into reverse.
That's so bad.
So you can't back down the anchor,
No.
and it makes setting the anchor hard because you're stuck in forward. So even though you're lowering the chain in the anchor, you're still going forward.
And it is a charter boat. It's not their boat.
No, it's charter boat.
So they're going to
It's
tell the
proper
charter
shoddy,
company.
Like they've installed like a GPS unit in the cockpit, and it's like not screwed down.
Oh.
It's like there's a hole cut out of the fiberglass for it to
Yeah.
sit in. He's put screws in place, but he's drilled the holes too big so the screws don't bite. This GPS unit is like just jumps and bounces
So
up and down and
bad.
wiggles, and the throttle is almost falling off
No.
of like where it's mounted. Like it's just bad. It's bad.
Are they okay now?
But the worry was we could turn the engine off and drift back on the
Yeah.
anchor, but then we were worried that it wouldn't start
Yeah.
because I didn't know if you could start it in gear. It's a more modern engine, so we've just got like an ignition switch. You
Yeah.
can turn it on in gear. We've
Yeah.
done it, and obviously I've
Yeah.
lost the prop shaft. They've got a little electric box,
Oh,
so
right,
you don't have a
okay.
switch. You just press
Oh, shit.
start. So I didn't know if there'd be an override that says you can't start the engine if it's in gear.
What did you do then?
We text the charter company because the charter company were basically like, I'm on the other side of the island, I'm not coming to get you, go and anchor.
What?
Like, I can't get you, go and anchor somewhere. Don't try and go into the marina.
But also the
Because it's stuck in forward, so you
Yeah.
can't go in.
But the anchor's so like what?
Yeah,
are
the
they
anchor's
to do
really like
there?
undersized for the boat basically.
Is it a claw anchor? Like a Bruce
I can't
anchor?
remember what it's like a fluke with a little claw coming off the side.
Okay. Yeah, so Bruce I think.
The charter company was a bit of a joke, but the boat's a bit of a joke. The worry was if we turn it off,
Yeah.
we try and set the anchor,
Yeah, and then you
like
can't.
let the wind push us back, and then if we're actually dragging and we can't restart the engine, then we've got the 2 dinghies, we'd
Yeah.
have to tow the dinghies, that was the plan.
Yeah.
But it's still quite windy, so it would
Yeah,
just
it'd be
struggle.
horrible. And then, so then that's what you did then? You just turned it off?
Turned it off and then drifted back on the anchor. It was still gusty, so it take a while. We put out all the chain, which is 50 metres.
Oh, nice.
There's like 10 metres of depth.
Five
We're like
to
5 to 1, they should be fine.
Yeah.
The wind's meant to drop off now.
Yeah.
And we set up like Anchor Pro
Oh, well done for them.
So they've got an anchor alarm now because they didn't have anything to do.
Have you got their numbers or anything? So then they
Yeah,
can
he's
text
got my
you if
number,
they've
so I
got a
say
problem.
call me, and he's got Chris's number.
Yeah, cool.
Because at 9-10 o'clock it switches, so,
Yeah.
so you need to just keep an eye on the anchor when the wind direction changes.
Yeah.
Check that because the anchor will have to reset in a new
Yeah.
direction. So I said just call me. It doesn't matter what time of night,
Yeah, nice.
what time of day it is. Give me a call because they were just quite stressed by the whole thing.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. We go now.
They were lovely, but they were just a bit scared, a little bit out of depth. It's the first time he's ever chartered a boat, so it's terrifying.
Yeah, for that to happen and it's not your fault, that's
Yeah.
what's really shit. Because that's not even his fault probably that they didn't, like, that they dragged the first time, because...
Yeah, well the first time I didn't see what happened, but
Well, Amy said they actually had loads of chain out, but then they just started dragging and they dragged really fast. So there was like no time to react really.
yeah.
It wasn't
yeah, well,
like
it's
a
still
slow
windy,
drag.
that's the problem. It just goes to
Yeah.
show how quickly
Yeah,
you hustle if you drag.
yeah.
But I think it's the anchor, like if we dragged, the anchor would be resetting all the time.
Pulling.
We've got a massive anchor anyway
Yeah.
in the boat.
So is that why when Chris helped them to re-anchor, is that why it wasn't working because the throttle wasn't working? Or did it just drag again?
No, so he still had anchor then, but it did drag.
Right.
He still had,
God, you're so lucky that it's set this time.
I think it should, I was like, we'll just chuck out all the chain,
Okay.
everything. We didn't, because the chain's got no markings on it, nothing.
Oh God.
So I just chuck it all out, and then we texted him and said, how much chain is that? Like, how much chain is there?
Yeah.
And he was like, you've got 50 metres of chain. It's like, okay, 50 metres and 10 metres of water, it should
Yeah.
be okay.
Yeah. That's so stupid.
Such a shitty service.
Yeah, particularly when you've got a kid on board as
That's what I
well.
was about to say, like, it wouldn't be so bad if it was just 3 adults.
Yeah.
Like, or, I mean, it's still, like, traumatic, because, like,
Oh,
they
horrible.
could have been... If Chris wasn't watching, like, they could have been on the... If you said they dragged that quick,
So-
like, they'd have been on the rocks within, like, another
Yeah.
minute or two.
Yeah.
Maybe 2-3 minutes.
Well, they hit Harlequin. What they called Arlequin.
Yeah.
They hit Arlequin, so Arlequin stopped them. It was Arlequin's
Yeah, I know, that's what I'm
anchor that
saying.
stopped them.
And after that,
Oh, I
they would have
see.
carried on drifting back.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, also,
it does make me worry for what's to come
I know.
for the rest of summer. Like, this is the very beginning of, like, charter season. And, like, we've already had so many boats dragging and, like, just being a bit
Yeah.
not on the ball with things. And it's like, oh, God. Anyway, this is why we're here in the Balearics now.
Yeah.
We're here before it gets busy so we can hopefully be less
Yeah.
stressed than it will be later